There are many places throughout the system that are asking for criteria on what we want to print in a report or what we want to use or what we want to see in a query. So let's take a quick look at that by taking a look at the job cost journal. And we're going to choose number 21. The rest of these are custom reports. Reports start with 21 or better. So over to the right, we see the criteria that we can specify for the report. First rule is if we leave something blank, everything displays. So in this case, all jobs, all cost codes. Obviously, that's not very useful for this particular report because we're just trying to drill down on some detail. So we might say that it is for a job. Now notice that when we use the between, it always defaults to the same job for the end. Ditto for the cost codes. Maybe the date of the transaction, the phase of the job status in this case defaults to an equal. This is a good time to examine this pull down here. We can change this if we need for this particular run of the report to any one of these. These are pretty self-explanatory. It's equal to a status, greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. Sometimes it's important to include the criteria, so that's why we have the or equal to. We also have a not equal to. Sometimes that's important for us. It's either equal to 0 or not equal to 0. Again, sometimes that's important. So if we have a job status not equal to 0, then it's going to display all of them. Maybe that's not a good deal here. So we want let's say a cost type equal to 0 or not equal to 0. The last one we want to examine here is, and this is particularly useful if we are looking for maybe a set of jobs. So I'm going to do a list, and then we'll assume that this is blank. I'm going to start my process by double clicking here, which brings up a job, brings up my job list. And in here what I can do is double click, or click and drag to select, double click to unselect if I want. And then what happens is I press this little button that says insert selected item. So I'm going to get jobs 201, 216, 222, etc. Once I set that up, then I simply run the report. This is going to be a long one, so I'm not going to do that for right now. But I am looking for these 4 jobs just for cost code number 1000. Anyway, pretty simple and straightforward. What I may do on these reports is if I run this report all the time and I want something to stick, then normally what I'll do is I'll leave the job blank, I'll leave the cost codes blank, and let's say I want from a particular source on this, and if I hit F5 as I'm instructed to down the lower left, it comes up with the sources of these guys. So let's say I want those to come from AP invoices. And I want that to stick. I simply go up here and say default, save the printing defaults for this report. That's what it should say. Save the printing defaults for this report. Sometimes I need to delete those defaults and start over again. This saves not only this, but it saves printer specifications and everything else, and also the form on which this thing lands. Again, pretty straightforward. Some people are just not familiar with the idea that we can change those at the time we run the report, and most people are not familiar with this in list. So hopefully that helped you out. Thank you very much.